Crank that sound or grab your earbuds. It's time for Artist Direct on FM 100.5, your inside scoop on the music scene. Brought to you by Singing Hammers Construction.
I like the way you look and I love your little car. You drive too slow, you don't go very far. I talk to you, baby, your mind's all a blank. I want to put a tiger in your tank. Everything you do, you know, knocks me out. I want you to feel good, want you to scream and shout. I have no money, Lord, in the bank. I want to put a tiger in your tank. I can raise your wood, I can clean your car, I can check your transmission and give you the oil. I don't care what the people think. I want to put a tiger in your tank. All the cars pumping in, listen to. There's only one thing left for you to do. Yeah, better push out, the car won't crash. I don't wanna put a tiger in your tank. Good luck. I can raise wood, I can clean your car, I can check your transmission and give it oil. I don't care what the people think. I want to put a tiger in your tank. I'ma put a tiger in your tank. I put a tiger in your tank. I put a tiger in your tank. I put a tiger in your tank. Now I don't care what the people think. I wanna put a tiger in your tank.
It's Artist Direct on FM 100.5, brought to you by Singing Hammers Construction.
And that was Tiger in Your Tank, a song by the Fattenin Frogs, who are coming this way to the Haymarket in Decorah in just, a week or so?
It's going to be a week from this Saturday.
A week from Saturday. And we've got Amanda from the Fattenin Frogs on the phone with us right now. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, wait. What's a tiger in your tank?
Yeah, what does that mean? We don't want tigers to drown.
It is like a reference to, like, a tiger is your engine.
Yeah.
And, it was back in the day, there was an old commercial, and there was a company that used a tiger as their slogan. So it was all about putting gas in your tiger. So it's kind of like, you know, getting your lover ready, getting them little gassed up.
Get them gassed
you know
up.
how the blues is. They always have a double meaning when they're singing.
Wow, quite an image.
I love it. Well, that's what I love about the Fattenin Frogs is you guys take some really fun things and turn them into some really fun songs. So one of the things John and I were just talking about off air is how did you all come together? And also, once you came together, how did you decide that this was the kind of music you were going to do?
Well, yeah, you know, it's kind of a puzzle, if you will. It started off with Chris and Mark and Barrett, and Chris and Barrett Mark and Barrett are no longer in the band, but Chris is still in the band. But they were the ones that cooked this up, this dream of wanting to play blues music. And how they came into it was they were fans of these 60s stars, and they thought, what did they grow up listening to? How did they make this music? So they dug into that and started doing some research as to what their influence were listening to and started listening to that. And meanwhile, I came into the picture a couple years later, and I just happened to get an early blues influence in my life, and I've always, listened to that, and it's always been, a little piece of my musical heart, and we just met at the right time and kicked things off, and we've been going ever since. And we've, had different lineups since then. People have babies and second babies, and, 3 other bands. And so it'll be a 4-piece coming your way next week. But
that's
we're
awesome.
going to have a real good time.
Oh, Amanda, were you in a band prior to this, or is this your first band experience?
Well, goodness, I've been singing ever since. I think the first time I sang in public was when I was 4.
Wow.
And then I was in, did some things in college, just kind of, actually I was in a blues band in college that, it was kind of an informal blues jam. We meet every week, and I got to play with, his name was T. Wilson King, and he just happened to live out in the middle of nowhere I went to school in South Dakota, Vermillion, South Dakota, and so I had some more blues influence there, and then I was living out in Oakland where I played in a power pop band out there for about 3 or 4 years, and we were playing all over. And then I'm in another band now, just going to have our first show next week. So
Okay, so what's the other band too? We want to keep up on you.
Well, the newest band, people don't really know. This is the first time I've told people publicly. So the new band is called Kinda Fonda Wanda.
Kind of Fonda Wanda?
Kind of Fonda.
Wanda Jackson tribute band.
I love Wanda Jackson.
Is that who she's referencing?
I will tell you, John, you weren't here at the
Yes.
time, but when our AM station got inducted into the Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in
Yeah.
2014, we hired Wanda Jackson to come and perform here in Decorah.
Wow.
And then she unfortunately got really ill about a month before and had to stop touring for a while. So we did not get to have Miss Wanda here, but we love to play her on the radio. So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Well, yeah, you can have Kind of Fonda Wanda, in the near future if you'd like. So.
Yeah.
Great. It's like almost Wanda.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and things that she did or was inspired by. So we're having a lot of fun with it, and it's a different, more playful side to my voice. Where I'm kind of acting a little bit more. Where when I'm singing the blues, I feel like I come out of there like it's kind of like a therapy session.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
I go through every emotion, and you get really raw and vulnerable, and feel emotions I've felt or feel emotions I think other people have felt, and just kind of live lots of different lives on the stage. So it's a different thing, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Did you often get surprised by how emotional you get on stage? Did you just come off of at the end of a performance and you're just like, whoa, what just happened?
Oh yeah, there's songs that I don't think, there's a couple like Where You Been and Where Did You Sleep Last Night?
Oh, that's an old song. That's a good one.
There's a handful that there hasn't been a time I've sang it where afterwards I don't have to stop and just catch my breath and just kind of take a couple deep breaths and just move on from that. And it's not a bad thing; it's a good thing. I like being able to access that emotion and have that. That's part of what I like about performing, is connecting with people and on that emotional level. That's what you get in a live show that you don't get, listening to a recording. Even though we're on the radio now, and the radio is fantastic.
Well, of course it is.
We're talking with Amanda here from the Fattenin Frogs on Artist Direct FM 100.5. It sounds to me like when we go through your catalog of songs that you guys have worked pretty hard at not only paying tribute to the past blues musicians, but you've also, it seems like you're trying to work within an energy, that you're trying to keep an energy, a beat, an excitement. I hate to say a perkiness because it's not perky, but
Perky's a nice word.
Well, but sometimes we women sometimes take perky the wrong way because we think that means we're like not really paying attention to what we're doing, that it's just
Right.
bubbly. But it does seem like you guys are working hard to make it fun.
Yeah. We really do. I would say that absolutely. I mean, that's the reason why we've been doing this for so long, because it's fun. It's just fun to get up there and let it out and just connect with people and try to uplift them and then have them feel a couple emotions and then bring them back up and just, have a party. We just want to have a good time with everybody.
So have you guys done any recording recently?
The last thing we did was a couple years ago, but we've mentioned maybe doing kind of a more stripped down thing this year, kind of resembling more of what we're doing currently. So there might be some recordings coming your way.
Now I see that you guys joined in on a Minnesota Pays tribute to Robert Johnson. How was that for you guys?
Oh, incredible!
Yeah,
I mean,
for people that know Robert Johnson and the history of blues and the music, and
Right.
I mean, to be able to get together as a bunch of Minnesota musicians and play his music had to have been pretty interesting.
right. I'm trying to think back. I think that we've done so many tributes. We did our own thing. We did a tribute to Howlin' Wolf every year. We
Oh,
did
cool.
tribute to Muddy Waters. I think that one was before my time, though.
Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
a huge Robert Johnson fan, and I definitely would remember that show.
Yeah,
Do you get nervous with those tribute shows? I wonder because you are tributing or dedicating
Major people. Yeah.
major people. Yeah.
Like
so-
Howlin' Wolf, that's no small
Yeah.
feat.
yeah. Yeah. Does that make you a little bit nervous, or did you walk into it pretty confident?
I don't bother with nerves because they don't make me sound very good.
Okay. That makes sense.
I told myself that something when I was young. I was like, you get nervous because you want to sound good, but when you're nervous, your vocal cords restrict. You can't breathe,
Right.
and I'm not going to sound any better. It's not doing me any good. So, I just get up there and I just try to do the best I can, and I feel like if I'm having fun, if I'm really getting into it, that it'll resonate with others. And so, maybe it's a kind of a bypass on my highway, maybe a little nerves here or
Right.
there, but it's very, very fleeting, and which I am thankful for. But in the Frogs, when we take a song, we're not doing it note for note like the artists. We never do.
Right.
It's always, we've taken it and we've rearranged it.
Right.
We're adding parts to it, or we're taking a couple different versions and stitching it together, or adding something of our own, writing something new. So that kind of takes that out. Maybe with this Wanda Jackson thing, though, I mean, she's got some vowels and some weird sounding stuff that I'm like, ooh, that'll be maybe a little more pressure where people are going to know those recordings and we're doing it note for note. But, in the Frogs, we're doing our thing and it never sounds the same thing twice. So there's no pressure or standard to live up to.
Do you have a pre-show ritual? I know I know some musicians they
Whiskey.
like whiskey or jumping jacks or what do you like to do before the show to get yourself amped up?
The first thing I do is I got to warm up. I didn't have to do that before, but dang, I do now. And so if you're anywhere outside the show beforehand and you hear a siren, it's just me warming up. Like the no one's after you.
Yeah.
So I've got this certain warm up where it sounds like I'm just doing the siren type thing. So that's one thing I'm always doing. And then I might come in and get a little whiskey, maybe a little whiskey.
That never
ginger
hurts.
ale.
Yeah. Whiskey
I
gets you
get
loose.
a couple of waters there. I got to stay hydrated. So.
Amanda, I feel like I know you.
Feel like you're connected.
From the
Well, you
siren,
can meet me there for one on Saturday.
right? Siren to the whiskey to the water. It makes a whole lot of sense. By the way, we are talking with Amanda from the Fattenin Frogs. So let's talk about the Fattenin Frogs and the fact that you guys are going to be here at the Haymarket in Decorah. For someone that hasn't
Yes.
seen your show, what's your elevator speech for what the show's going to be like?
Well, I would have to say it's going to be 4 people up there just having a great time, taking some old songs, interpreting them in our own ways, injecting them with some energy, injecting them with some emotion.
Right.
And also you're going to get some originals that we've written. About half of our set are originals, and they're things that we have written based on those early influences. So we're just excited to share our interpretation of the past with you and do it in the future and just have a good time and come together.
That's really cool. And we were communicating over Facebook. And Jon, I want to give you a heads up because I'm going to have you go to the videos on here because I think we're going to play Deedle, which is one of the songs I just saw on Facebook. So we're going to play it off of there. Tell me about the song Deedle. Is this one of your originals?
It is, yeah. There was a process that we did when we were writing where they made just a huge listening list. Like I had like 3 discs long of jazz, early jazz, turn of the century stuff. And those rhythms were just going in my brain, and I was driving home from work one day, and I was just like, you know, and it just came into my head, like, in the moment I'm driving and I'm at the red light, like getting to a voice memo, like singing this thing in there and clapping my hands, and I went home and had like, I didn't have any way to record it at the moment, so I had like my iPod going to my iPhone where I had one track, and then I'd do a voice memo over a voice memo onto the next thing, because I had to try to communicate this idea that I had in my head. And so I brought it to them, and we all fine-tuned, coned it out, and added a fun little ending on there. And it's a really good time, good feeling song.
Yeah. I love when melodies go from just like simple like mouth noises, and then you get into the studio, and then it turns into something much bigger. I mean, that must be a thrilling experience.
Absolutely, and this song's going to feature a kazoo. It's a kazoo that's been layered many times. We play many different types of kazoos, which you will see me play at the show.
Yes.
I'm a kazoo enthusiast. I have something that's called a kazubo, where it's like a mix of a kazoo and this. I think it was like a bozobo. I'm probably saying this wrong, but it was like a turn of the century instrument, and so they've combined the two, and so you'll hear some of that on this song, and it's great. The theme of this song is, you know, when you fall in love with somebody, but you can't quite approach the words, you can't quite find the words to say, and then by the end, I'm just kind of reduced to just sounds and you know, melodies.
Sounds in the kazoo.
We know
That's
the feeling.
all we have left. All right, Amanda, you're awesome, and we're so excited that the Fattenin Frogs are coming to the Haymarket again. The date is not this Saturday, but a week from this Saturday.
February 10th.
And
got it.
Until then, what's the best place to keep an eye on you guys?
Well, you can check us out on Facebook. Facebook.com/The Fattenin Frogs, or we have our own website, www.thefatteninfrogs.com.
All right, Amanda, you're awesome, and we're really thrilled that you're coming this way.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
All right,
Thanks.
Here is Deedle from the Fattenin Frogs on Artist Direct FM 100.5, brought to you, of course, by our friends at Singing Hammers Construction, who love the kazoo.
Whenever you're around me, I just can't seem to get it out. So many feelings that I want to scream and shout. Yeah, I think about you every single night of the day. Wish I could finally find the words that'll make you stay. I love you, I want you, I need you for good. I love you,
Thanks for listening to Artist Direct on FM 100.5, your inside scoop on the music scene. Tune in again next Friday for another Artist Direct, brought to you by Singing Hammers Construction.